Hi again, everyone. Welcome to part 3 of our DSP webinar series, where we've been talking about the DSP workforce incentive payments and providing information, really everything that you need to know and be cognizant of with regard to these payments. I'm Ryan Cox, once again from the New York Alliance, joined by my partner Anthony Ishmael from the Regional Centers for Workforce Transformation. And we're pleased to be joined today by the third member of our team, Melinda Burns, who is the Director of Adult Education at Wildwood Programs here in the Capital Region. And today we're going to be talking about some of the public benefits that you need to be cognizant of with regard to these payments, because it will be more income than most DSPs traditionally have experienced in recent years. So that will affect your public benefits in many instances. So we're going to be talking about that today. And to kick things off, I'm actually going to pass it to my partner, Anthony, to start asking Melinda some questions. So go ahead, Anthony, take it away.
Good morning, team. Welcome with Melinda and Ryan. Thank you for that warm introduction. So I'll start off with question 1 in our third-part series of this seminar. Question 1. What are some of the public benefits that I need to be aware of that I might lose because I am receiving the workforce incentive payments?
Well, thank you very much, Anthony, for the question. Some of the basic benefits that we're talking about today are SNAP or food stamps, Section 8, either for rent or mortgage subsidies, your HEAP programs, WIC, which affects the food access, Medicaid possibly, and then access to community resources, depending on your area, depending on your region.
Thank you for that response, Melinda. Question number 2. Why am I losing these benefits if I have had them for years?
Yeah, it's quite a shock to a lot of people to find out that they will potentially lose benefits. This is a major increase in your income, and it's a short-term change in your income. So that's a good thing to keep in mind today. All of the benefits that we talked about in question number 1 are means tested. That means they are income-based. Keep in mind that this is a temporary change in your income, and that's why at this point there's a reevaluation of whether you qualify. You're making more money, and these are not designed for that income level, so that may potentially change your ability to continue to receive those payments.
Okay. Question number 3. How do I know if I am going to lose these benefits in the future because of the payments?
Very good question. Thank you. And this is the question on everybody's mind. We would like to suggest that you contact your local office that administers those benefits, and you're usually going to be familiar with them already. Report that change in income and ask if that income will impact your benefits. It also is dependent on family size in many cases. And another important point to remember is the recertification date. All of the benefits require a recertification date. So depending on whether this hits, before or after your date or right in the middle of it, that would be an important question to ask as well. And remember, it is temporary, and your income will revert back to its previous levels after this period of time.
And I just want to, sorry, Anthony, I just want to interject real quick. When we're talking about these benefits, just so that everybody knows, we're going to be posting links to some of the resources on the landing page where this webinar is located. So as you're watching this webinar, the place where you accessed it, be sure to check back for the links to the appropriate resources that Melinda and Anthony are talking about.
Thank you for that, Ryan. And Melinda, a question on every DSP's mind will be, where can I go, or what city or state agencies will provide me with exact information about my benefits and income threshold so that I can make an informed decision?
Another excellent question, of course, and Ryan just alluded to it, is that your local agency that administers your benefits will be the go-to for you. And on that handout, you will have the phone numbers to call, and everybody that you need to contact on the city and state level will be on that handout for your region in New York State. And it's important to know that those details are the ones that you might already have. But as we know, sometimes numbers change, people change. So it's important to have the most updated information that Ryan will be sending out following this webinar.
Okay. Now, if I lose my benefits or entitlements after receiving this bonus, can I reapply later to be reinstated?
Yes, you can, because the income will return again to your original levels, and including all of where you are currently, your present rate, all of the evaluation that was done for you to receive the workforce incentive payment will revert back. Each agency is doing a specific formula based on how many hours you've worked, whether you're part-time, full-time, et cetera. So that amount will revert back to where you were before these payments were administered.
And Melinda, and Anthony too, the timeframes for those recertifications might be different depending on what program, right?
Correct, correct. Many of them are annual. Again, you're going to keep all your information, your pay stubs. You need to submit information that way. Document exactly how much you've increased your income, not just overtime, because a lot of people have the overtime line, but this is the bonus payment, the workforce incentive payment that is bumping you up to a different income level.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anthony, specific question for you, number 6. If I'm 62 years old and currently collecting Social Security while I'm working, will the workforce incentive payments affect my Social Security?
That is an excellent question, Ryan. And the first thing that needs to be done is to take a deep step back, call your local Social Security office, post the new payments to them, and ask them that question. Do not leave it to conjecture. They will provide you with the exact answer and figures regarding your payments.
And kind of along the same lines, in the next question, will I be required to repay any monies to Social Security after I receive these benefits?
Another excellent question. So the first thing again that needs to be done is to reach out to your local Social Security office, report the new income, allow them to make the adjustments. That way you avoid any future penalties or repayments. However, if you do not reach out to them and they find out that there's additional incomes, there will be penalties to repay in the future.
Got it. And once again, check that handout that we're going to put the link for the individual social services offices and numbers they need to call. For number 8 is a question on Section 8. So I'm presently receiving Section 8. Will I lose my Section 8 housing subsidy because of this bonus payment? And can I reapply for Section 8 in the future if I lose my Section 8 benefit?
This is a very important question, Ryan, and we know how important housing is to many of our DSPs. So you can contact your local Section 8 office or an approved social service agency in your county or region, and they will gladly provide you with that answer. That way you're aware of whether or not you will lose your benefits, there may be increase in your rent, or everything will remain the same based on your family size.
And I think the next question is for both of you, and it has to do with WIC and food pantry access. And if I'm a DSP receiving these workforce incentive payments, will I still qualify for WIC and food pantry donations after I get these benefits? I'll kick it to you first, Melinda.
Okay, thank you. Really good question, because you do want to spec that out. Food pantries are different around the state. New York City does not require an income test, and so you can still access all of your food pantries in New York City. Upstate, however, each food pantry is set up according to their own protocols and their guidelines. Some, for example, church food pantries do not check for income. If you come in and say you need food, you will get food. Others, such as our regional food bank here in the area, in the capital region, require an income test, a means test. These kinds of things are not required to be done as quickly as the other benefits that we're talking about. I think I just wanted to add that in too. It's like the other ones, we really want to encourage you to act fast and spread the word to as many people as you can. And I'll defer the WIC answer to Anthony. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then you were correct in your assessment. In New York City, there's no income guidelines for food donations, and there's several locations, churches, pantries, etc., that would provide much needed food to families and individuals, and none of it is income based. And in the event that you happen to run into one that is, you can always spec that out and just move to an alternate pantry that doesn't require any income thresholds to provide food to you and your family.
And just on the question about WIC, so WIC is administered by OTDA, the Office of Temporary Disability Assistance, and that WIC, just like SNAP and HEAP, is a means tested program, right, guys? So that would be where the depends kind of answer comes in this question, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Last question, Anthony, pretty straightforward. Is there a limit on how much money I'm allowed to keep in my personal bank account if I'm receiving a public housing subsidy such as Section 8?
Excellent question, Ryan. And the answer is yes. The limit is $5,000. Now, the next question might be, what happens if I have more than $5,000 in my account? What Section 8 will do is they will calculate that as part of your annual income, and then your rent will be based on everything after that $5,000. But again, that's not something you should leave up to conjecture. You can contact your local Section 8 office or an approved social service office in your county, regional district, and they will gladly provide you with exact answers to these questions. That way you can prepare accordingly and avoid any anxiety or threats of losing any benefits, especially housing.
Fantastic, fantastic. Those were the questions that I think we had put together. Melinda, anything else that you'd like to add before we close up shop here?
Well, just to reiterate, to repeat that this is a temporary status. Your income will change when you get these benefits, and it will be reflected directly in your pay stubs. So keep your pay stubs. These are important. I know a lot are online now, such as Wildwood is all online. So this would be an important one to print out and have a documentation so that you know exactly when your payment hits your income and the time period for that, because that will be something that you will need.
Great advice. Thank you so much. So that's going to do it for this webinar. Like we said, all along, there's going to be a list of resources in the handout, which references some of the things that we mentioned in this webinar. Be on the lookout for that, and any potential webinars in the future where we might go through some of those resources together and just kind of navigate it through so that we're all kind of on the same page doing it together. So be on the lookout for any future webinar series from RCWT and the New York Alliance related to the specific resources in the handout. I want to thank both Anthony and Melinda for joining us this morning. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Ryan and Melinda.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.